Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about fake Sega Genesis games, pirate Sega Genesis games, and bootleg Sega Genesis games. You know, whatever you want to call them. These are Sega Genesis games that are not affiliated with Sega and are still made to this day and are usually made in Chinese factories. And some of these games aren't even real Sega Genesis games. Like this one is Sonic Megamix, which is just a Sonic ROM hack. This one is Super Mario Brothers on the Sega Genesis, just some bootleg game. Obviously, back in the day, this would have been unheard of. Mario on Genesis. This one, I guess you can consider a reproduction cart, because this is an actual game. This is Mega Man: The Wily Wars. This is a official Sega Genesis game, but it's fake. This is a bootleg copy that was probably made, in the 21st century. So these usually sell for about $12 on eBay or Amazon or wherever you choose to buy them. They usually are very cheaply made. I bet you can tell, but just by me holding these, that they are flimsy and very cheaply produced, and made in large quantities in Chinese factories and probably sold on eBay or Amazon or wherever you would get these. They are cheap, but they take a long time to ship, and the worst part about these is that they could potentially damage your Sega Genesis. Now, I've never had a problem with these. I know some people may be very worried about that, and if you are, I would recommend using something like this. Now, this right here is a Game Genie, and this is made for cheating, but you pretty much, you don't have to put any codes in it, and you can just run the game. Some people will take these, I know it's hard to do this one hand, but some people will take these and they will attach it on top of their Game Genie like this, and they'll play it like this, mostly because they don't want to risk their Sega Genesis getting damaged by these because of how cheaply made they are, and how some of them don't seem to fit properly in the Genesis and could potentially damage your cartridge reader, that little cartridge reader part in the Genesis. I've never had a problem with this. They usually seem to work just fine. But let's say you don't want to buy these. I completely understand that. If you're a collector, you probably would not want to buy these cartridges because they are fake and don't make very good parts of a collection unless you're collecting bootleg carts. Now, easy way that you can compare to make sure you don't end up buying one of these. This is a official copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and this is a bootleg copy of Mega Man: The Wily Wars. On the back of any official Sega Genesis copy, there should be a copyright logo here, assembled in USA. It depends on what game you buy. If it's an Acclaim game, this might be in like an Acclaim logo or a Capcom logo, but it's usually a Genesis game. And back here on this caution, on this instructions on how to handle the game properly, there shouldn't be any broken English. I can't get my camera to focus. If there is, that's most likely a bootleg, but a very easy way to tell is if this should be an actual screw. If it's not, this is just a plastic screw. This will say 16-bit and not Sega. If it says 16-bit, then it is almost certainly a bootleg. If these screws are just plastic and just for show, this is very broken English. Do not bend it, crush it, submerge it, and then at the yada yada, and then at the very end, it just kind of goes ... and then it goes pleat, and it kind of cuts off. This should look like this, caution, and it should actually be correct grammar and correct English, and it should have this over here. Now, and also another easy way that you can tell is some bootlegs, like my copy of Sonic Megamix. Hang on, let me just get it out of the Game Genie. Will have a spine. Now, this is still a bootleg. We can tell by the back, it's 16-bit, and This one has a little bit better English, but it still isn't great. And it still has the fake screws. But a lot of bootlegs will just have the box art for the game that's used for the box printed cheaply on just a sticker, and it won't even have a top part. Like, this doesn't even have a top part. This does. This is an official cart. Mine's a little bit teared. It does have a top. Now, and also another little way you can tell is now, of course, some games are kept in very good condition, but if it is old, that's, like mine has tears on it and stuff, that's usually a pretty good sign to tell you that it's real, because that would probably mean that it was made in the 90s. But obviously some bootlegs are made in the 90s and will be, old and like this. If you find one of those actually can be pretty rare, but still, nonetheless, they are bootlegs. So if you are a collector, I still wouldn't recommend buying it, but yeah, if it says 16-bit on the back, if it has a very cheap feel to it, if the sticker isn't correct, then it is a bootleg. And if you care about that, I would not recommend buying it. But if you want something wacky to put in your collection, like this Super Mario Brothers cart, it's a nice thing to buy. But all these work. These aren't just for show. These actually do run on a Sega Genesis, and I will show you some gameplay of each one. Okay, so here are the games, and here is my Genesis. Just to show you that each one of these do actually work, here is Sonic Megamix. I'm not going to be using a Game Genie because I've had no trouble with these, and half of these don't even work on my Game Genie. It just kind of freezes, which is strange. I mean, that's another little warning you can take if you really do not want to run these on your actual Genesis. Beware that some do not run on a Game Genie. Let's turn these on. We get the license logo. And the game should boot up. Now, one thing about this is a lot of these bootlegs will remove copyright information. Like in the corner, it's supposed to say Sega 1991. And at the title screen, it's supposed to have the Sega and Sonic Retro logo. We did not see any of that. We just kind of went to the Team Megamix Presents, and then it kind of just went to the game. Now, these do work. Obviously, this one was never made to actually be played on a Genesis. It was made to just as like a ROM hacking competition or something like that. So it can lag sometimes, but this does seem to run alright. Sorry, I'm playing with one hand. I'm not playing very well. But yeah, as you can see by my gameplay, these do work. In case you don't really care about how they look and you just want a cheap game for your Genesis, this is the option for you. But I mean, you can buy cheaper ones for cheaper official copies, and also they do have the chance of damaging your Sega Genesis console, but in the end, they do work. Now on to Super Mario Brothers for the Sega Genesis, surprisingly. Okay, here it goes. Super Mario Brothers for the Sega Genesis. Yet again, Sega Genesis reads it and turns on. Now, obviously this one is not an official Sega Genesis game, and never was, so obviously it doesn't have any copyright information at all. I'm pretty sure this is a ROM hack of a already existing bootleg game, but made to have Mario characters in it. Doesn't really even play like a Mario game besides looking like one. You grab these barrels and you throw them at the Koopa Troopas and the Goombas. Kind of like Mario 2. Well, Mario 2, the American one. This one... Oh yeah, sorry about my screen. It's since it's a CRT, it doesn't really record well on digital cameras, but yeah, so this is this one yet again. It works. It plays just fine. But yeah, now on to the final one, which is actually a real Sega Genesis game, Mega Man: The Wily Wars. So here we go. Okay, this one actually has some trouble going into my Genesis, so it might not boot up. Well, we got the copyright in the front. Yeah, it does not seem to be working. Wait, let me try to get it to work real quick. Hang on. Yet again, this is one of the reasons why some people don't like to buy these, because they don't fit in Genesises properly, and they could break your Genesis. Yeah, it's... Oh, there we go. Now it's booting up. And this has cracked. I mean, so probably this was cracked off of a, what were they called? Sega Channel cart console. This was probably cracked off one of those, but I don't really know. Little example of... First of all, these things can't save games. So if you're getting a game that has a lot of save features, like an RPG, I would not recommend buying one of these. I would recommend buying an official cart, because these do not, they don't have a battery in them, so they don't save games. But this one right here, presented by, and then it's just blank. It's Capcom, and then just, but yeah, they, a lot of these will not have copyright info. Usually the place where it would have copyright info, like presented by and then blank, they usually just remove the name of the copyright owner instead of actually just removing that little part. But yeah, those were all of my bootleg Sega Genesis games. But besides the copyright removing, and besides them being finicky, they do work. They should work completely fine. If you really want to get your hands on a very rare Sega Genesis game, I would recommend maybe picking up a one of these bootlegs until you can get your hands on the actual game. But if you can't, these are just fine. Like Mega Man: The Wily Wars, that's a very rare game to get on the Sega Genesis. You'd have to get it. You'd have to get it imported first of all, because besides for Sega Channel, this game was never released in the United States on a cartridge form. It was released in European territories, but it doesn't run properly on a American Sega Genesis. So really, bootleg would probably be the way to go when playing these. But yeah, so yeah, there you go. Those were my little discussion about bootleg Sega Genesis games and why you should and shouldn't buy them. So in the end, it's your choice, of course. If a bootleg game is the most convenient for you, go for it. But if you're a collector, beware. You can follow the tutorial I gave earlier in this video on how to spot a fake one. And if it is fake, don't pick it up. Try to find a official one. But if the game is really rare, I'd recommend just picking up one of the fake ones until you can get a official copy. But that was pretty much the end of the video. See you guys later in the next video.